welcome to a very special video. A couple of weeks ago I did a self-worth workshop in my single parent group, and the feedback that I got from the people who participated was that it was really helpful and really important and empowering for them. So what I decided to do was to take that workshop and turn it into a video for you. So what you're going to see in this video is all of the important informational bits of the workshop with the personal stuff taken out. Because it was alive, there was a lot of interaction, so I've taken all of that out, and the actual workshop part is about 20 minutes long. So you will find in the description box below links to 2 workbooks, and they're a series of questions and reflections and exercises that are designed to get you to a place where you understand your value, your standards, and then you're able to put boundaries on that, which are all ways of increasing your self-worth. In this workshop video, I mentioned 6 elements of self-worth. If you don't really understand how they apply to you, keep watching this series to get more in depth on everything that we talk about in this short video today. If you want those, make sure you don't miss them. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification, like this video, and you won't ever miss one, and you'll get all of the good stuff regarding self-care, self-love, self-worth, personal sovereignty, how to become the queen or the king of your own life so you can live in absolute magnificence. And you'll do all of this peacefully, calmly, and happily. If that sounds good, you know what to do. Hit subscribe. Workbook number 2, chapters 2 to 8, is the bulk of this video, and at every chapter point there'll be a thing on the screen which says which chapter you're up to, what the questions are in that chapter. You can do the exercise and really think about it. You can go away and come back to this video as many times as you like. So without further ado, let's get going. Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome. I hope you're all okay. I suppose I ought to do a bit of an introduction here before I go any further. I'm Kerry. I've been through the journey of being a people pleaser all the way to where I am now, which is I am completely in love with my life and with myself, and I think that the way that things are now is absolutely wonderful. Finding that self-worth, I'm not affected by what people think of me, and I don't do things based on, is somebody going to like me, or am I going to feel something if someone doesn't like what I'm doing? Because my lack of self-worth manifested itself as people pleasing, so I would do absolutely anything to avoid feeling like I disappointed people. What I realise now is that 90% of the people I was worrying about didn't even think of me at all, and I was worrying for no reason. Finding my own personal self-worth it's freed me from all of that, and that's the reason that I do this. Is the reason why I've set up as a personal sovereignty coach, because personal sovereignty is self-worth, self-esteem, free will, and it's all of those things, but expanded so much that it's a state of being. Have a look at Self-Worth Workshop Chapter 1, which was 4 reflection questions. What does self-worth mean to you? Because there's a professional definition of self-worth, but it does mean something different to everybody. So for me, it's being in love with myself and with my life. But for you, it could be something different. Just jot down a few words. What does self-worth actually mean to you? And I guess an expansion question of that is, what do you want to get out of this workshop? The keen-eyed amongst you may have realised that the very first question on workbook 2, chapters 2 to 8, is the exact same question. What does self-worth mean to you? So I'm just going to go straight into Self-Worth Workshop chapter 2 to 8. Question 1, what does self-worth mean to you personally? Question 2, how is your life, your health, relationships, etc. affected by your feelings of low self-worth? What is causing your feelings of low self-worth? And then what in your life is out of your control, and what can you control? So moving on, what exactly is self-worth? So the official definition of self-worth is basically, it means self-belief. It's knowing that you are a great addition to of the world, and that you're immune to what other people think of you. But the benefits of having high self-worth are that you feel secure because you know that you can trust yourself. You feel a sense of security that whatever happens, you can handle it. You also feel confident in your abilities and worthwhile, so like you're contributing to whatever you're doing. You're able to accept feedback and critique very, very well. You don't get triggered by things. The final benefit of having high self-esteem is that your relationships improve because you're not worrying so much about what the other person thinks, that you project more confidence, and also on the inside you're not trembling, if that makes sense, which I'm sure it does, because if you're worrying about what people think, then that feeling like right in here is it's like that. It's not nice, is it? The consequences. These things are taken from studies which I'll link below. Anxiety, social anxiety, that feeling of, are people gonna like me? And then not feeling like you can cope with being in company. Having a low self-esteem, it really does affect you, and it's been proven to trigger depression, and it's very stressful as well. You end up with problems in your relationships because you're so anxious, and people respond to that even if they don't know what it is they're responding to. It can impair your performance at work, especially if you're worried about making a mistake, because you become a perfectionist, you become so worried and so stressed. So I've talked about people pleasing and guilt for feeling something. It doesn't matter what you're feeling. Guilt for saying things, guilt for feeling bad, so self-guilt, beating yourself up about stuff. And the last thing on here, which actually really worries me, and I've seen people go down this path, and it's abuse. So coping mechanisms in terms of legal and illegal drugs, or illegal drugs, or alcohol, but also things like shopping or sex or anything which becomes obsession. So you end up abusing something to try and fill that hole that is in you, and that we are then open to abuse from others, from partners, family, even friends. We're considered to be doormats, or people see us as like a victim and treat us like a victim. The consequences of a low self-esteem really are far and reaching, and actually quite frightening. So now I'm feeling a little bit emotional, and I feel that this is really important. What can we do about this? I mean, it's all very well sitting here and saying, well, all this bad stuff happens if you don't have self-esteem, go and like feel good about yourself. That doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work at all. There are 6 elements of self-worth, which are, so the first one is values, standards, and boundaries. What are your values? And then from your values come your standards, and your standards are your minimum of what you expect and how you expect to be treated. Your boundaries are what keeps you safe. The next one is your goals. The next element of self-worth is experiencing success. This is evidence-based. What evidence do you have that means that you're successful? Because when you feel successful, your feelings of self-worth go up. The next element is celebrating success. How do you celebrate success within you? And then how do you celebrate success externally? Do people recognize your success? And if they don't, maybe you need to say, hey, I did this great thing. Okay, it's really hard, isn't it? But you can do it. The next thing on this element is comparison with others. One of the ways that we measure our own worth is by measuring against other people. So you often hear, oh, I'm behind in life, or I'm not where I should be, or Sally, who was in my class at school, is a doctor and I'm only blah, whatever. Comparing yourself with others is going to lead to heartache. What they're doing is their business. What you're doing is your business. And I watched a brilliant YouTube the other day, and it basically said, mind your business and forget the rest of the world. And that's the only way that you are going to be successful in your own life. And then the final part of this is rewards. So, how do you what do you get as a reward for having those wins against your goals? Chapter 4 is to write down your perfect day. Write down your perfect day from the second you wake up to the minute you go to bed. And then from your perfect day, you'll be able to see the recurring themes, which are in fact your values, and then you'll be able to work to your standards and boundaries. Describe your feelings, what you do, what you wear, who you're with, whatever your perfect day looks like, right? Write that down. Out of that is coming the things that are important to you, and those things are your values. And then your standards are the things which are your minimum acceptance level of how you want to be treated. And then your boundaries are how you are protecting yourself and protecting your values and your standards. Chapter 6 is beliefs and identity. This is find evidence that supports your low self-worth, because we're going to do that first. Going to look at what has happened in your life that makes you feel unworthy, and also the beliefs around that. I mean, this is really important, because in a minute we're going to turn those beliefs on the head, kick them out the door, break down that evidence into the absolute rubbish that it is, and we're going to move forward and rewrite your story from the work that you've done earlier, why you feel your worth is low, and with these beliefs and the evidence that you have low self-worth. What is your old identity? Were you? Because this is past now. You're not that person anymore. And in a minute, we're gonna prove that. Okay. What was your old identity? Were you a yes person, a people pleaser? Were you a compulsive liar? Were you frightened of making mistakes? Were you angry and argumentative and unhappy? Were you? It doesn't. Whatever. Write down who were you, because that's not who you are anymore. This is Skip. Purring, baby girl. Can you go this side? Because I need my mouse. My mouse is under your tummy. Go this side. Thanks, Angel. I don't want you guys to be dwelling on the past. This whole thing is about moving forward. So the next page on chapter 6 is beliefs and evidence that support your high self-worth. What have you achieved? What makes you special? You know, what's your most amazing characteristic? Evidence that supports your high self-worth. If you think back to what the elements of self-worth are, standards and values, they're your goals, your experiences of success, as in like celebrations, comparison with other people, the way that you congratulate yourself and how others congratulate you for your success, and then the rewards that you give yourself, or the rewards that you get from being, like, having those small wins. So I want you to write down, what are your wins in life? Find in your past and in yourself, because this is also about your personal characteristics, evidence that tells you that your worth is high. And if you can't think of any, I'll give you one free. And that is, you are open to change. You want to improve, you want to change, because, and here's the evidence, you are sitting, listening to me right now, working towards increasing your self-worth. Now that is a win. That is a massive win. So if you can't think of any at all, put that down. I also want you to write down some beliefs about your high self-worth, and you can almost lie to yourself here, because the mind doesn't know if it's hearing something true or something which is not true. So we hear a lot, don't we? You're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, blah, blah. My view on this is that if we're going to believe what we hear, we might as well tell us good stuff. So those beliefs that you had in your the first part of this, the beliefs about your low self-worth, flip them around, make them the truth. And then when you've done that, spend a moment or two writing out your new identity. Who are you now? Who do you choose to be? Who are you with your newfound, evidence-based, incredibly positive beliefs person with the high self-worth that's literally through the roof? One of the reasons for writing down the negative stuff is that it gets it out of your head, out of your energy, and it gets you out of your reality and out of your present. What's happened in the past is in the past, and it affects us. Of course it does, but it doesn't have to define us anymore. So I just mentioned goals. I was going to leave this to last, but I think this is a good place to put it, and that is failure. We're about to set between 3 and 5 goals, create some action steps, and then reward ourselves when that goal is met. There are going to be times when your goals are not met. I read somewhere recently that the average 12 to 18 month old learning to walk falls over an average 200 times per day. They pick themselves up and they carry on and they fall over again and they pick themselves up and they're learning. So every mistake you make, every failure, every missed goal, every opportunity that you let by, every time that you think, oh, I wish I'd done that, it is not an opportunity for you to beat yourself up. It is an opportunity for you to learn, to grow, and to try something new. I wanted to put that there for you guys to really appreciate that if you don't meet your goals, it doesn't really matter. Don't make goals which are impossible, like making £1 million by the end of the week, which, I don't know, if you've got £1 million house, you could possibly sell it within a week. But if it's a goal which is going to be impossible, don't give yourself a small timeline. If it's a goal which is not matched with where you are now, so I'm going to go out and make 5 new friends, is not necessarily matched with somebody with social anxiety, don't make that goal. Chapter 7 is value-centered goals, actions and rewards. So this is all about your values. Your values make up who you are and they inform everything, standards and your boundaries and your goals. Value-centered goal setting, as long as you're moving forward, as long as you're working towards your value-centered goals within your boundaries and to your own standards, you cannot fail. You cannot get it wrong. You're driven by your own soul to work towards them, then you will find a way. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Think of 3 to 5, no more, okay? Goals that are personal to you, they're in line with your values, they are something which is going to enhance your life, make you feel better, and which the very act of working towards them is going to be celebrating your wins, celebrating yourself and increasing your self-worth. And you're going to write down an action, just one per goal, that you're going to take. You might make more later, but like just now, just make one. And then reward yourself. So how are you going to reward yourself every single step along? The last thing we're going to do here is we're going to bring all of this together. And I'm sure you've heard of affirmations. And you may think they're a load of rubbish, or you might not. It doesn't really matter. Remember, it's scientifically proven that we believe what we are told. That creates connections in the brain which prove to that person that it can be done. So basically they're lying to themselves, which creates the truth. I hope that makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some affirmations, okay? And they are going to feel ridiculous. They're going to catch in your throat. They're going to hurt your heart. They're going to make you cry. You're going to think, well, that's not me. I don't deserve that. And take it from me, someone who has been doing affirmations religiously every single day for the last 3 months, lying to yourself in this way works. Basically, we're going to lie to ourselves in the best way possible. We're going to convince ourselves over time that we are bloody brilliant. Okay, so affirmations, I'm going to give you a few, but then I want you to also create your own, because that gives them even more power. I want you to write these down, and I want you to, if you can, I want you to say them out loud. Okay, you're going to start with this. In fact, just take a couple of deep breaths. All right, let's get into a space where we can start believing ourselves. So a couple of deep breaths in and out, and just center in and just calm. We've done a lot of work, a lot of really good work. Just take a few moments here. Okay, then say after me, your own voice, so that you hear it, because when you hear stuff in your own voice, it creates even stronger beliefs. I am enough. I am worthy. I am strong. I am kind. I am perfect, exactly the way I am. I am happy. I am healthy. I am worthy. I am abundant. I am loved. Go back over all the work that you've done and write your own I am statements. Okay, write your own statements. I am. When you do these, don't use the word not, don't, aren't, nothing like that. And also create them in the here and now. I am happy. I am strong. I am empowered. So you wouldn't say, I am not a people pleaser. You would say, I am empowered. And the reason for that is your brain doesn't recognize the word no. Again, we all have children. We all say, do not touch that. And what do? They touch it because the brain doesn't really hear the word no. So if you're saying, I am not a people pleaser, your brain is hearing, I am a people pleaser. And this is not what we want anymore, do we? We don't want that in our lives. So write down the things that you are. Write down the things that your new beliefs, your new identity. Write as many as you want. And the way to make affirmations work is to say them every day. Write down your affirmations. Stick them on your wherever, somewhere that you're going to see them every day. You're going to remember them. And you're going to say them out loud every single day. Okay. And finally, this is up to you if you do this or not, but I think it would be beneficial to help you with increasing your evidence of your own self-worth and how fantastic you really, really are, is to create a kind of a wins journal. So when things go well, when good things happen, create a journal about the wins. If you want to do one on learnings too, so if something goes wrong, what did you learn from the situation? How did you improve? I think that would be really quite beneficial as well, to focus on the good stuff, which is happening every single day in your lives, even when it feels like it isn't, it still is. I'm going to wrap up here and say that I'm so proud of you guys. You come here not really knowing what you're letting yourself in for. Fact is that you're here. You have recognised that you want to make a change in your life, and you've taken action to move towards that goal of making a change. And the reward, I hope, is hopefully you feel better. Hopefully you've had some things like some aha moments. Hopefully you've been able to rewrite your identity of who you are now, and the affirmations are going to just seal that in over time and make your new identity as the worthy, empowered, incredible, awesome person that you are. It's going to make you even stronger because you'll start believing it, and then one day you'll wake up and you'll be like, all the people pleasing and the unworthiness and all that shit, it doesn't exist anymore. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you. I think you're all brilliant. I wanted to show you this beautiful piece of jewellery. I talk about rewards and rewarding yourself for small wins. I don't really elaborate on this very much in the video. We did have a discussion about it, but like I say, I've taken all of the personal bits out. A good way to increase your self-worth is to celebrate the wins that you have. I'm not talking about hitting your huge goals. I'm talking about hitting the small milestones that lead you to those goals. Because it's all very well having the goal, I'm going to buy a house, and then doing all the work and not celebrating the fact or acknowledging that you have managed to save the deposit, that you've got all the paperwork together, you've signed the papers, you've paid your deposit, you've done all of the solicitor stuff and decluttered your whole house and all the rest of it. If you don't celebrate each small step, it's very, very easy to get discouraged. A big step for me was to do my first online workshop. I have never done an online workshop before. I've always done them in person. And so for me to be able to do all the techie stuff and present the workshop and get great feedback, and to, celebrate the fact that that is one more step towards my goals, I bought myself a present. I've had my eye on this ring, this beautiful emerald cut. It's cubic zirconia. I haven't won the lottery, because if I had, I'd be on a beach somewhere on my own private island. But what I have done is I've saved up for this, knowing that I was going to be doing this workshop, and I'd pre-chosen my reward, my present, my gift, my treat, if you like, to myself absolutely ages ago. And I knew that when I delivered this workshop, and I knew that it would bring value, and then having that feedback to say that it had, so other people celebrated my win, I celebrated my win, and I bought myself a present. And I've got to say, I absolutely love it. It's very large, very blingy. The point is that to recognise what you've done, because whatever you do deserves recognition, and the one person who knows what you're doing is you. I'd really love it if you let me know how you get on with this video. I will see you in the next video, which is going to be all about the 6 elements that I mentioned in this video, and I've got a lot of self-love, self-care, self-worth videos coming up for you, because the very act of raising your self-worth makes you sovereign, and that's what this channel is all about. And I will see you very soon.